y'all doing, man? As you know, this is the totally unbiased podcast where we are uncut, unfiltered, unscripted, and most importantly, we're unbiased. Now, I'm starting up a series where I am going to be talking to the streets, man, because y'all know I love my subscribers. You know, I love all bunch of artists that follow me. Trust and believe me, this channel has always been for the people because of the people. But who better to kick this one off with than a long-time friend, subscriber of mine? I want to introduce y'all to Sylus Salgado.
What's good? What's good?
How's it going, man? First things first, man. Tell the people where you're from.
I am from Bayonne, New Jersey.
All
Um,
right. Jersey kid, Jersey boy, man. I have not I've always wanted to go out there, but no, man. Y'all crazy out there. I don't know. I hear some bad things about Jersey, but nothing too intimidating, you know. And then tell everybody how you found out about well, I mean, you found out about my Alter Culture channel. So I don't know, share the origins of how you found me or found out about my channel.
well, it was 4 years ago. It was back in 2020 where you started doing a podcast with Amiri or Amir, whatever people call him. Honestly, I've called him Amiri. He never had a problem with it, so I'm assuming that But you did that podcast with him the first time, and I remember the first time I watched any parts of that podcast was you guys were listing your most favorite and your least favorite songs from like every Eminem album. I
Yeah,
remember that.
I
So
remember that.
and now I was still an avid watcher of Amiri at the time. I didn't tune into your channel specifically until 2021, where you guys did a collab video for his main channel where I think it was like double standards in hip hop, something like that,
Yes.
where I got to hear you actually like talk, like make like a commentary type video, and I was like, you know what, oh, he sounds great, like I gotta check out some more of his stuff. And the rest is just history. Like I've said it before on Twitter that I think you are a great talker. Like I genuinely mean it when I say that, dude. Like I could listen to you talk for hours. Like I just love hearing you talk, whether it's
Yeah.
good, whether it's bad. Like you just something about you. Just I love hearing you talk, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I do. I've heard it before, but it never hurts to hear again, man. That means a lot to me. And um oh yeah, I remember those videos. I remember the Eminem one in particular. I was scatterbrained like a motherfucker doing that video because I was tasked to listen to every single album that Eminem had dropped, or at least the ones we were speaking on. And I mean, my memory sucks when it comes to music. So remembering, like, if I had to write down most of the stuff, so when we got to the podcast, like a lot of the material that I thought of, I was forgetting. So I just seemed like such a casual. So I don't know, man. That was a time. And then the double standards video, I remember that too. I remember having some material already made for that. So yeah, no, two legendary videos. And shout out to Amir once again. He's still doing his thing on his channel. Check him out. I think he's close to 100,000 subscribers if he hasn't passed it already. But either way, man's doing his thing. But yeah, man, I appreciate that 100%. But Mr. Salgado,
Hmm.
while he does listen to music, we gonna be talking about some manly man wrestling, some wrestling over
Yeah.
here. All right. So I want to kick this off by asking you, how are we feeling about the WWE product as of now?
Oh, I love it. I think WWE's really stepped their game up in the past couple of years. And, ever since Triple H took over, I really think like, the WWE product has improved massively. I mean, even under Vince, like I never hated WWE, but there were times where I wasn't the biggest fan of stuff going on, and I could see certain things going on and look at this and I'm like, what the hell? But I think Triple H, him taking over, and him having to pick up where Vince left off, I think has really massively improved the product because we've seen a lot of good changes in the product overall. Like we've seen a lot of interesting character developments, a lot of great storylines.
Right.
And honestly, it keeps me tuned in every week. Even down in NXT with Shawn Michaels, he's been doing his thing ever since NXT became 2.0,
I'm glad
and
you
to where it is
mentioned.
now. Like it's just been amazing.
I am glad you mentioned NXT because I honestly, I feel like personally the NXT product as of now has somewhat surpassed what WWE is at the moment. Like I feel like what Shawn Michaels is doing, he's returning NXT back to its like it's never nothing's ever gonna beat the black and gold with Adam Cole and Tommaso Ciampa and that group. But what I'm seeing right now, I feel like this era of NXT might be the second greatest run they've got going on today. But I will admit, currently it's getting a little weak. Little weak. I'm a big believer in Trick Williams, but as of now, I feel like he's more fine tuned for the main roster. As of now, I think it's been a short run for him, but I already feel like he's run out of things to do in NXT. Um, but all the same, yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. WWE is 100% going in the right direction. Some storylines could use some work, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. Now I want to ask you this.
Hmm.
I want to ask you about their top competitor.
Hmm.
How is AEW doing?
Yeah, here's the thing. I just started watching AEW again recently because there was a period of time where I wasn't really tuning in. I'd only watch through like social media highlights, but AEW, it's like the product's not the worst, but they have a lot of issues, and it's just Tony Khan has never been one to want to fix the problems of his product.
Ugh.
It mainly stems from how I just mentioned WWE has compelling characters and compelling storylines. Tony Khan is kind of the opposite. Like, okay, there are characters, definitely, and here and there have been good storylines, but that's the problem. Like, he'll only have like one good story going on at a time, and then that's it. And because his main focus has always been, dream matches in a sense, or putting on like every week. It's like there has to be like some sort of like 5-star match performance on the show or something, which okay, I mean, yes, you got to have somewhat good quality matches on a weekly basis, but at the same time, it's like, why don't you just why not? We don't have to see like 5-star matches every week. We don't have to see like dream matches all the time. Like you're ruining the point of a dream match. Like especially a it's like Tony Khan. It's like he books just the book. He doesn't book. There's no point to a lot of his bookings. Whereas Triple H, he's a long-term planner, so everything he books has a purpose.
Most definitely. And you said a lot of stuff I agree with, but the one thing that stands out the most was the 5-star consistent classic. Now, how I feel about that is I feel like Tony Khan is signing people, a lot of people, just so they don't go to WWE. That's how I personally feel. And I also feel like it's different from when TNA used to do it. TNA used to sign people and have things for them. If they actually could go, if they could talk, if they could put on these good classics, then they will do that. But TNA had these people doing that when it was time for them to do that. Seemingly in AEW, it just honestly seems like Tony Khan is trying to be, and I'll give them this much credit. I think AEW is the place where good wrestlers should go because they do prioritize wrestling over entertainment. But the thing that makes people want to keep watching wrestling is the mixture of entertainment plus the good wrestling. It's why people can't really buy into Ricochet and his nonsense. He's a great wrestler, great wrestler, awesome entertainer, but because he's in the wrong company, personally, some wrestlers it'll never work. Now, not to say they haven't created stars, but I personally believe AEW is the place where wrestlers go to fine tune themselves for other companies at this current moment because they're it's a dying product. It's a dying product, man. They're not going anywhere too fast right now. It's a shell of itself from 2019. Man, do you remember where you were when they, had the first I believe it was what was their first pay-per-view? It was the
Double or
one Rey
nothing.
Mysterio had went to.
Oh no, All In.
Yeah,
Okay,
All In. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, I've been an avid no, I've been watching AEW. I don't watch it to hate on it, but I truly do think that what they had in 2019, they've deviated from. They used to care about what they were doing and who they were showing off. Now it's about, oh, well, WWE's doing that. Well, here's what we're doing. We could do it too. Look at us. They're just trying so hard to not be, WWE's little bro. It's like you have no choice, man. And when you mention them every week, and you have these funny ass speeches about this is where the great people go. This is where all the best wrestlers go. That funny, ironic speech coming from Edge or Adam Copeland now. It's odd. It's crazy. I don't know. I absolutely I don't know. They need to let go of a lot of their talent. They're WWE bound, like Ricky Starks, Wardlow. Um, what's his name? He Black Malachi.
Malachi
Malachi
Black.
Black. He needs to come back. Adam Cole needs to make a return. MJF needs to. Nah, you know what? MJF can stay where he is. Actually,
No, they keep him.
yeah. No, I don't like his attitude. He's that bidding war of 2024 shit. That was yeah, that was the worst.
No, yeah, he kept doing that just to fuck with the fans. But dude, we saw through it, dude. Like, you aren't going nowhere. Like, you really think that WWE is gonna want to go to bat over AEW? They're gonna want to fight over you? Like, hell no, no.
Especially when you publicize it. It's like if this were a private thing, this would have been this it would have actually been a bidding war. But when you say out loud, "Hey, I'm going over there," it's like who's to say you won't do the same thing in WWE? So you make yourself look like a massive shithead, which he doesn't care about because he's an amazing heel. I'll give him that credit. He's real good at making people despise him. But the thing that I've always been lost on with the MJF character, he's a great heel and a decent face, and yet that AEW right now doesn't even know what to do with him. A super talent, megastar potential. AEW's flopping him. Where the hell did that Adam Cole and MJF story go? Where'd that the devil, the shit go? What happened to the undisputed elite? What's going on with that?
Oh, there, it was the Undisputed Elite with when the Young Bucks were part of it, and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. Now they're the Undisputed Kingdom. But what happened there? That whole saga is confusing too because all right, Adam Cole got injured, and when Adam Cole turned heel and revealed himself to be the devil, you know he couldn't really do much because he was injured. And then coincidentally, at the same time, MJF, right after dropping the AEW title, he was sidelined for a little bit because he had to go get some surgeries done. He had to heal up some injuries too. So it's like now both your main, your big storyline, the two biggest people in your storyline are both injured, but only one of them was on TV, that being Adam Cole. But he can't wrestle. He couldn't wrestle. He still needed crutches to walk. So it's like that story was kind of screwed from the beginning, and it's just confusing because I was paying attention through highlights and stuff, and eventually, all right, MJF came back as a heel, and then Adam Cole, he was still sidelined, and then eventually, when he returned from injury and started competing again, they had him as a face again. So now it's like this whole thing's just confusing because MJF was supposed to be the face to begin with, and then Cole was the heel, and now the roles have reversed, and they've tried to explain it. Adam Cole's like basically his explanation for turning on MJF now is saying basically it's, oh, I turned on you because you were gonna do it to me first, so I beat you to the punch. And then MJF was like, you damn right, I was gonna turn on you first. Like, that's it? Like, what? Like,
Like,
what kind of fucking logic is that?
it's so silly. At that point, you guys might as well just had a long term storyline for the title. We've seen it before with in WWE where they'll run. They're currently doing it with the Rhea Ripley and the Liv Morgan thing, um, which we gotta talk about Rhea Ripley and just by herself. By the way, it's I'm not a fan, but um, with with them, they've been feuding ever since I believe last year's SummerSlam. So it's a slow burn. Sometimes those things don't work, but with them, it's like you did all that just to give me some big show type of turn. It's like, oh well, I just didn't like you. I just stopped caring about you after a while. It's like, well, your goal the whole time was for the to go for the title anyways. Why waste time? Why waste time teaming up if you knew that you were teaming up with the Snake? It makes no sense to me. Again, I'm not only gonna say crazy and bad things about AEW. They used to be a stellar company. They're still all right. Although their best show is currently not getting more, the ratings are underneath NXT. That's besides the point, though. They've got a lot to work on. But I do want to ask you about the super wrestlers right now. The top complaint on Twitter, well, all social media, has been the booking of one Rhea Ripley, and even I'd say Damian Priest at the moment, where they seemingly just cannot take a loss. They lose matches, but they seemingly don't really lose that much. They continue to look very strong on TV, where Rhea Ripley can basically beat up uh, entire teams by herself. And Priest has been seen on numerous occasions soloing the fucking Judgment Day. Now, listen, Judgment Day, say what you will of their current stance, but that team consists of Carlito, who is a very great talent, JD McDonough, who at one point was one of the top prospects in all of NXT, Dominic, I'd even argue the best heel in the company today, next to the New Day right now, and Finn Balor. I barred the women because that's they've got their own thing going on with Rhea Ripley, which they both run from her. So my point stands with that. How do you feel about the booking, not just specifically for them? I mean, you can use them as examples if you want, but how do you feel about how Triple H and Vince used to do it too? He did it with Roman Reigns. How do you feel about the super character, the one that really takes no failures and more triumph than anything else?
Well, I mean, I'm one for, booking someone to be strong because, now Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley have stepped up to be main event talents. So of course you want to continue to book them somewhat strongly. Like, you don't want your main event talents to always look bad. But maybe I'm not the right person to talk about Priest because I'm a little biased. But um I do understand though, because it was the same with like Cena back in the day where a lot of people were getting annoyed, especially when Cena had that 380-day WWE title run. Like he would just never lose, and people would. It came to the point where people started to boo him. So I totally get it. I totally understand it. Um, but I think them being like super over plays into it a little bit too, because you see the fan reactions now. The fans cheer them, especially. I went to the house show at Madison Square Garden the other day, and Priest was super over. Well, he was in his hometown, so he was going to be over regardless. But Priest, like, he got big reactions, and then he gets big reactions. Rhea especially gets big reactions wherever she goes. So I think they're just trying to capitalize off that popularity, and I think they're trying to keep the fans like you know what's the word, like, invested. Like, I don't think they want to lose the reactions from the fans. But I definitely get it. It's like you know you really never lose, even if your shoulders hit the mat, even if you get pinned, you really never lose, because they always do something to make you look good, to make you take a loss but still look good in the end. So I just hope that if they're going to continue to make them look consistently strong, that there's some sort of like long-term plan for this. As for why you're like booking the hell out of them, like protecting the hell out of them, that's just what I hope. Because otherwise, what are we doing?
And I'll say this, they've done it right before. Like with Cena, I don't think they did it wrong per se, but they definitely were going overboard with him destroying some people's potentials, like Alex Riley, to name one. The prime suspect, Baron Corbin in 2017. Um, it's yeah, it can look away, but then I see really good examples like Gunther, formerly known as Walter. Uh, I even forgot he was named Walter for a minute, so I don't know. Some people still call him Walter. I really have been stuck on Gunther for this entire time. It's thanks to Samantha Irving, it kind of rolls off the tongue. Shout out to her too. Um, but with Gunther, they did it right. This is a heel that is systematic, that is methodical, that knows how to break down his opponent, studies his opponent, and absolutely destroys them because they play head games. Randy Orton did this same thing where he couldn't lose, but Randy Orton in 2009 was somebody that no one wanted to get in the ring with because he was so demented. He was so twisted in the head. Um, with Gunther, he's able to overpower you. He's able to use his submission wherewithal. Um, he's stronger than you. He's sometimes faster than you. He sometimes he surprises you with his athleticism. So it's very understandable when he's able to uh you know uh beat up. But you've never really seen Gunther destroy entire teams by himself. He's able to pick it off one by one. He's had Imperium behind him for the most part, but that's a good example. Damian Priest, in my personal opinion, if they're trying to create more John Cena's and more Roman Reigns's and more, yeah, no, no, no. I fear Damian Priest is not that guy. I like Damian Priest. I've been rooting for him ever since he was in the indie scene. When he was Punishment Martinez, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Uh, I've been a fan of him for so long. I was rooting for him when he was in NXT and he won the North American Championship. His gimmick was very, very unique then. The dark, the deep voiced, smooth player. Um, right now, I'm confused. I understand they want Damian Priest to be over. I get it. I don't think this is the way to go about it. Him just being this indestructible guy. Because if that's the case, you know, where's a title? Why would you take the title off him to begin with? If you wanted to give this to Gunther, I feel like his ascent for him was a little rushed as well. I love Gunther as champion. Don't get me wrong. I love him as champion more than I love Cody Rhodes as champion and as a wrestler, honestly. But personally, we get to the brass tacks of things. Damian Priest holding the title for as short as a time as he didn't make any sense. If you're gonna be this indestructible guy, at least have the title while you do it. As far as Rhea Ripley goes, I'm not buying anything going on with her. I can't. I can't. And I might sound crazy to some people. I think a lot of guys like her because she shows her ass most of the time, and she's a fucking freak. I don't give a damn about that type of shit. This is wrestling. You want to show your ass, make a damn OnlyFans and appease them people. When you get in that damn ring, I'm not trying to tune into wrestling Billie Eilish. I want you to get in there and stop. You know, it's just I don't understand her gimmick. I don't get it. Why are you still mommy? You're not with Dominic anymore. You're an Australian. Why are we still doing this whole mommy shtick? I've never understood why that's still going on. I don't understand why she's still super gothed up. You were like that when you were in the Judgment Day. Go back to what you were doing before then. And then even then, if she did that, I don't know, because Rhea Ripley was a confusing figure. Before then, she was in teams with Nikki Cross and doing Alexa Bliss's show. She had no direction. She seemingly has the most direction now. Yeah, I don't get it with her. Truly don't. But I want to veer off into another question. Or actually, something I've been worried about, something I've been wondering about. You had a series going on your channel where you were playing WWE 2K22, if I'm not mistaken, right? And
Yes.
you had your own created universe of some content creators, some of your family members. You were in it, you know. And then abruptly, man, it's just stopped. I am not gonna lie to you. I was a big fan of that. What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who don't, well, for those, I know this is a different audience, so a lot of you don't even know anything, but I'll briefly explain it. So I did my own WWE 2K22 universe where I took a combination of like real life friends and family members and other friends who I knew who were YouTubers, like Culture, for example. Um, I had my own little series where I did like my own show out of it. Like I had a world champion, like a mid card champion, well, almost, and I had tag champs and a women's champ. Like I went all out with it. But I had a lot of issues IRL. Some of it stemmed from my content. Others were unrelated, and it's just I've had to excommunicate certain people, and I've there's some people who were featured in the videos that were no longer in my life, and my content partner, Beastmo 9000, he has been very busy lately, and it's hard to get a hold of him. So I wasn't feeling the best about putting out my next show, which was supposed to be Starcade. If you guys are interested in hearing how that show was gonna go, you can go on my Instagram and I have a video explaining everything where I announced the end of my series and then I explain what you guys would have seen in the video. But yeah, it's just I just wanted this to be fun, and it just turned into a thing of like, how could just making YouTube videos, making like, just playing a wrestling video game just cause me so much drama, like whether directly or indirectly. Like, this was just supposed to be fun. This was never supposed to be anything serious. Like, I didn't think this would cost me friendships, and I would have to, write off certain people. Now, there were other ways I could have went around it. Like, and all right, I'm about to throw out some ideas. I'm about to throw out some things I was planning and some ideas I had. So this is never before seen, never before heard. So you guys are getting exclusive info. um, so I was gonna try to come up with other ideas as to how I was gonna remedy this. Um, One of those included like doing what my friend Beast 9000 does with his content, which is where I got the inspiration for mine from. I was gonna include like actual wrestlers like in the game, um, like actual like wrestlers IRL that in, and I was gonna put them in the game. Like I was gonna have a combination of my characters plus actual wrestlers, and try to do that and try to it would shake things up a little bit too, because at some point I was gonna run out of new people to add, which was gonna make the content a little stale at some point, because you would have been seeing the same faces over and over again. And yeah, you would have seen certain people interact that never did before, but it's like, I have to make it things interesting, like, adding new faces and stuff. Not like the way AEW does, but adding new faces to the roster, to make things a little more interesting. But and the thing is, my heart wasn't fully in that. And even then, people are not stupid, so they're gonna go back and watch past videos, and they're gonna see certain people that were there, and then they'll see future videos and see like certain people missing, and they're gonna wonder like, hey, what happened to this person? What happened to that person? Like, like somebody was gonna bring that up eventually, and I didn't want that comment. I didn't want those comments. Like, I just didn't want that because then that was gonna, if I had to give an explanation for why certain people weren't around, it would just, I've been trying to avoid like drama of any kind. Essentially, that's why I'm being very careful about the way I talk about things because I don't want to bring up certain names and stuff. But that was one idea I had, and what I was gonna do after I put out Starcade, I was just gonna take a hiatus. Now I was debating ending my show altogether at first, whether I was even going to continue or not. But there was supposed to be like an extended hiatus after that anyway. So there was going to be a period of time where I was going to go dead silent as far as like my videos goes. But so that happened. And then also culture, since I mentioned you were part of it, I included your chaos culture character as part of my content. And here's the original plans for what I had in mind with your
Whoa, whoa,
character.
whoa, 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 whoa. Some things, some things the people need to see for themselves. All y'all should know, all y'all need to know is I am the rap game, YouTube game, wrestling game intercontinental champion. And I am the YouTube game, rap game, only fan. No, WWE champion. Not only
Oh.
fans, y'all didn't hear that shit. I've been teasing that shit for so long, and I'm not even serious about it. People just are tired of it. I had some people like seriously inquiring about that shit, like, when does it start? And I'm like, you freaky motherfucker, get out my damn DMs. But go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
So this was what my original plan was for the direction of chaos culture. So chaos culture, first of all, I made Chaos's theme song, your ATK theme, um, which I found the original YouTube video. Well, you put it in the description of every video, like your theme song. But I took your intro and just added the rest of the music on top of that. I figured, you already used that as your theme, so I figured, fuck it, why not? And also, well, there was a period of time where also you would like tone down, like you would to not tone down. What's the name of it? Like pitch down. Excuse me. You would take your theme song and lower the pitch, slow it down a little bit to sound darker. I was thinking about doing that too, but I don't know how you did it, so it just wouldn't sound right. But but no, I used the ATK theme as your intro. I even included the audio of your voice when you said ATK and this thing TKG tap the fucking that one I kept in there too. Um,
You
so
said it fast like I usually say it too. That's crazy.
yeah, it goes to show you how much I watch. But yeah, so my original intention for the chaos culture character, I never asked him, so he's gonna find this out for the first time too, because I never bothered asking. I wanted to include Amiri in my YouTube videos as well, and I wanted to bring Boom and Chaos as a tag team. That first match I had with you against Heel Balor, my original intention was to bring in Amiri's character out of, as a surprise and have him cost Heel Balor the match for you to win. And that was going to lead to you guys, Boom and Chaos being
uh,
in my show.
if you
However,
if you want it to be if you want it to be realistic, he should be costing me the match, and he should be my next top rival, and then eventually I don't know, that should turn into like a triple threat match or some shit.
oh,
No malice. Once again, no malice. This is how Triple H probably books with his people he is not friends with. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Triple H? He's in the back and he has to book shit good for Braun Breaker, knowing fucking Scott Steiner used to hate him like so much.
yeah, I can only imagine. yeah, so that's what, and that's the thing. I never told Amiri I wanted to do that. I never even asked Amiri to be if he would have minded if I included his character in my videos either. The reason I didn't was because now you, believe it or not, culture, you were the first person I got to be in my videos. Like you were the first person I asked, hey, would you mind if I included chaos culture in my videos? You were the first person I asked. I never got to ask Amiri, and by the time you guys had revealed that you guys were no longer collaborating, and I was just like, fuck. Well, first of all, my heart kind of dropped because that's how you guys were just an incredible duo, and the fact that we're not going to get that anymore sucks. But also, the thing is, I didn't feel right to ask Amir. I already had you on board, and then that was before you broke the news. So, but I didn't feel right. It was right to ask Amiri because it's just like considering that you guys weren't collaborators anymore. It's like, yeah, I could have just had you guys doing your own separate things, but it's like eventually those characters are gonna cross paths, and
Yeah,
we can't just not acknowledge Boom and Chaos. Well, on my in my videos, like, but it was just like it didn't feel right. It's just I didn't want to create any
yeah,
problems, so I already had you on board, so you were going to be on board already, but then I couldn't go through with the plans with Amiri. But Amiri did watch my first ever show though, the day it went live, so shout out to him for that. Which that's like a full circle moment right there, because I've watched Amiri for a long time, and the fact that he was there for my first video back on YouTube, and God knows how long. That's a full circle moment right there.
yeah, it
I
is.
love it.
And I'll say this much: knowing Amir like how I do, honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know his whole chemistry and personality and all that. Well, I know his personality, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know exactly what he'd say. But I just have this gut feeling that he wouldn't care, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all it's nonfiction. It's not reality. It's in a video game. It's fantasy booking. It's none of that. So it's not like you're we're voicing the people. We have to be in the same room doing it. Yeah, no, it's and I also want to say for y'all, shout out to anybody that still watches the Boom and Chaos. I sometimes go back. It's bittersweet. I can't pretend like I'm watching just some video. You know what I'm saying? That's a guy I used to hang out with and refer to as my best friend. So yeah, I'm sure personally, I don't think Amir would care too much. I can almost hear it in his voice, him saying that. Just because I'll leave y'all with this quote, and I'll let you get back to what you got to say, Silas. Just because you're not friends doesn't mean you're enemies. I don't hate that man. I hate some people on this earth. That man is far from the word hate being in the same sentence, even though he was basically just in the same sentence as the word hate just now. But uh no, I couldn't hate that man, even if I tried. Y'all 100% are never getting Boom and Chaos again, because while I've forgiven Amir a long time ago, I know him too well, and I know that's out the question for him. We've already kind of talked about that on one of his streams. That's a done deal. So yeah, no, it's yeah, that's over. But just because it's over doesn't mean, you can't go back and cherish what was, because we were still funny. We still had a lot of chemistry, and we were still one of the greatest damn hip hop podcasts out. So say what you will of that. But yeah, no, I don't think you will mind at all.
Yeah. Well, Amir, if you're watching this, I don't
He ain't.
know how
He's
you would
not.
have reacted.
He's not. You might as well say whatever you about to say. Amir. Not only do I'm 100% positive he didn't watch me. That man does not think about me. So no, you. I mean, you say what you're gonna say, but the chances of him seeing this is low. So I won't say it's 0%, but it's fucking close to it. It's closer to that than it is 50%. So maybe 10% if somebody tells him about it, but no, Amir's not looking for me on his own initiative at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope he'd watch just because of me, but I don't know. But but yeah, but if you somehow, some way happened to stumble upon this, Amiri. Like, I don't know. Just let me know how you would react if you wanted to be part of. If you would have been okay with being part of the videos or whatever. But whatever. So yeah, that was the original plan for Chaos Culture. But what ended up actually happening was, I kept your character in my videos as a solo competitor, and I decided to like protect the hell out of your character. Like, I kept you undefeated in singles competition for so long, at least up until it would have been Starcade, where I hate to say it, but yeah, you would have lost in the finals. You would have lost, and you would have been putting over Steep, who would have became the inaugural Intercontinental Champion. However, I wouldn't. Your culture was gonna have to take a chaos culture was gonna have to take a fucking beating first. Like, he's not just gonna lose like that. Like, I protected the hell out of chaos. Like, I even, I had his finisher also never kicked out of up until that point, and it took Steep to hit 3 rock bottoms in a row in order for him to even pin you, to even pin chaos. So that, like, I did that character justice as much as I could. Like, I really thought about you. I really did. Like, I wanted to book you strongly
Oh
for
yeah.
chaos
No, it's
in honor of you guys separate beings.
and I appreciate that. I do. I definitely appreciate that. Trust and believe me. Listen, guys, anything having to do with me, having to do with any, like, I've had people, and you include me in your universe on the game. I've had people make beats for me. I've had people, want me to in their songs. I've had people want me on their podcasts. Man, I just every day I just tell myself, wow, I'm just a regular ass, big ass, buff ass black dude from Detroit, sitting down in my regular ass house, and peace. So many people around the world make me feel like a celebrity, and that may sound superficial or whatever, but no, it's a feeling that it's dope. It's actually really fucking awesome. There's a lot of people that refer to me as their favorite YouTuber or one of their favorites, and I didn't even think I'd get this far. So truthfully, I appreciate anyone incorporating me and their ideas and the things they do. All of that shit, man. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to be alive, but it's a more of a blessing to be acknowledged for being alive. So that's awesome, man. So shout out to you for that 100%, Silas. I definitely appreciate that, man. Even if I lost, that doesn't matter because I was gonna come after your damn WWE championship at some point. But yeah, no, it's a wonder. Shout out Steep too. Yeah, you, shout out Steep. Don't feel too good about that fluke win you were about to get. Shout out Heel Balor. You've never beat me in a match. Um, shout out everyone in that universe, man. Shout out all of Silas's family. I've seen the yeah, I've seen them matches. It's a wonder, man. It's a wonder. If y'all, it's a, and you know what? What's crazy about that? I've been doing what you've been doing way before, like creating universe. So I have my own wrestling thing that I make in all the wrestling games, like the company, but my company is called EFF. It's called Extreme Fighting Federation. So I basically have like a thing where I create a whole bunch of people, and I'm a voice actor too. So of course, I'll voice some of the people, not the women. I'm not that good, but I'll voice some of the people. My brother, he'll voice some of the people, and we'll just have this whole universe going. It's like it would be 100 people on the show, of course, bunch of creative people. Some people get released, whatever, all that shit. I've been doing that since, I shit you not, maybe since 2000 and 2012. Been doing that for a long time. So it's been what, 12 years now that I've been doing that. So that's why I can truly appreciate what you're doing, because it's cool to see me in someone else's universe. It was cool to see someone make me in the damn game to start, but it is awesome. It's definitely awesome. I 100% appreciate it. I'll never not like seeing myself on someone else's screen, seeing me get mentioned by someone, seeing somebody, appreciate the stuff that I do, because This shit ain't easy, man. Trust me. It's a lot of burnout moments doing this, but hey, I'm for the people because of the people, and yeah. This is all for y'all. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot, culture. And speaking of which, I can say the same for you because not a lot of people know this. Well, I've said it before in my story, but obviously your audience doesn't follow me. Um, I actually made something for you, and you guys have seen it without knowing it. The I am Lee profile picture, that was me. I made that.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Sure is.
yeah.
Sure is.
It was I mean you I guess you could say a commission, but at the same time it's like I actually did it for free. I didn't charge you anything for it. And I haven't done too many like paid commissions. Like I can only think of one that I've done. But but yeah, like Culture one day just posted on his Instagram that he was just like, yo, any like artists hit me up, any artist that'd be willing to do a banner, like let me know. And I DM'd him because I'm a graphic designer myself. In fact, that's what I'm going to school for. Um, and I saw it as an opportunity to like, put my work out there a little bit. So I figured, let me hit up Culture and be like, yo, hey, if you need a banner, I got you. And he told me what he was looking for. And I sent him back what I made, and he liked it. And it was originally supposed to be his banner, but YouTube's a bitch, so
Yeah.
he had to put it as
Yeah.
his profile picture. Which the funny thing is, I tested it myself because he said he had problem. You were telling me how you had problems putting it as your banner. It wouldn't let you. First it said, "Oh, the file's too big." Okay, I made it smaller. Now it says it's too small. Like the fuck.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, I put it. I now you guys didn't see it, but I put that banner as the banner for my channel just to test it, and I recorded on my phone and sent it to Culture, and I was like, "Yo, they let me do it just fine, so I don't know what the hell's going on with yours." But either way, he still has my work, my artwork as part of his channel in one way or another. But there you go. So if you're wondering where that came from, that was all me.
Oh
And the
yeah, for
funny thing
sure.
is,
For sure. I wanted to pay him, but he was like, nah, I insist. I was like, oh well, all right. Shit. I'll always shout out art too. I will always shout out art. I'm an artsy soul. So
yeah,
fucking shout out once again to Silas. That damn yeah. I still got that in my phone. Anytime I need somebody to anytime someone asks, who am I, what do I do? I send a picture or I'll refer them to the channel and they'll see that you know but I do need to put that in my description that was created by you and the other things that people create for me. I shout out the music people send to me, so yeah, I definitely need to do that for you as well. That's yeah, that's a must. But yeah, no, it's yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing being able to ask for that, and there's so many people willing to create right then and there. Fucking cool. But yeah, most definitely. But that steers me off into another question for you.
mm-hmm, yeah,
So you say you're a graphic designer, right?
yeah.
And then also with you being a wrestling fan,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like that's another avenue that you could take? Like, would you ever be interested in working within wrestling?
Oh yes, absolutely. That's a thought I've had in my mind. Like, 'cause I've made my own like custom like fantasy match graphics before, and I'm not just talking about my universe mode stuff. Like I've made like actual like I've fantasy booked like WWE pay-per-views, like future pay-per-views, and I've made my own match card graphics for them. Big example is when I fantasy before it happened, I fantasy booked WrestleMania 38, how I would have booked night one and night two. And here's a fun fact. I just discovered this the other day. If you go on Google Images and Google WrestleMania 38 match card, if you scroll down, you'll actually see my tweet on Twitter from when I tweeted my fantasy booking uh, a couple of years ago.
Oh,
So
hold on. Me fact check that one.
I mean, it was at one point. I don't know if it's the case now, but my Twitter came up one day, and I just Googled. I went on Google Images and put WrestleMania 38 match card, and then I saw my tweet. I was like, hold up, wait a minute, is that mine? Like,
I definitely remember seeing you on WBTV one time because you were at a live show and you had a sign up in the crowd, if I'm not mistaken, or not a sign up per se, but you were in the front row. So
oh yeah,
yeah, I
that
remember
was
seeing you.
that was last year. That was funny enough. That was last year. I went to so every year WWE does a house show in Madison Square Garden the day after Christmas. They do it every year. I went. That's the one I went to a couple days ago, but also I went to that same show last year as well, and that was funny enough. That was Punk's return. That was because that was his first match back in WWE since he came back, and it was during his entrance. I was front row. I was front and center, and I was on. Yeah, I was right there. I was right there by Punk. Um, so that was on WWE social media, and plus they showed that clip on Raw and on SmackDown. And well, they showed it on SmackDown first, and then I missed it because I wasn't even watching SmackDown that day because SmackDown was it was a year end show like best of 2023, like one of those shows. So I was like, I'm not interested. I wasn't even watching, but I'm on the phone with one of my friends, and then he's like, "Yo, Cyrus, you made it on the SmackDown." I'm like, "Wait, what? What are you talking about?" And he told me, "Oh, the clip from the other." I was like, "Ah, shit." I was like, yeah, I missed it, but it's okay because 3 days later it was Raw day one, and funny enough, it caught me by surprise that they showed the clip because I'm rewinding my DVR because I was trying to rewatch something from earlier in the show, and then as soon as I click go live on my cable, I just see me there next to Punk, and I'm like, and coincidentally I'm on the phone with a friend, a different friend this time, and I'm just like, yo, I'm on Raw, yo, I'm on Raw.
And
Yeah,
I do want to confirm, you do see Silas Salgado's tweet. If you look up WrestleMania 38 match card and you go to photos, you scroll down, and I do see it. Clicking on it now, says Silas Salgado on X, says it's finally here, my WrestleMania dream card. Yep, and it's his night one dream card. I will assume you have a night two one somewhere here, but yeah, I see the night one right here. No, he was not lying. It's here.
yeah. The night one and night two are in the same tweet, but it only showed night one.
Right, it does. That's true.
Yeah.
Um, but we're going to play a little game real quick. Not necessarily a game, but pick at your brain. I'm gonna bring up certain WWE superstars, and you tell me how you feel about them.
Okay. Cool.
So we're gonna start this one off with AJ Styles.
Uh, Phenomenal. Uh, Pun very much intended, but yeah, AJ Styles, he's great. He's goaded.
Akira Tozawa.
He's funny. I mean, he's a great comedic wrestler, but I liked him better in NXT when they took him more seriously and had him actually showcase what he could do.
Most definitely. They're wasting him. But
Mm-hmm.
um Alexa Bliss.
Oh, we haven't seen her in a while. Well, I think she's great. I especially loved her work with, with Bray Wyatt, like her having that dark side to her. I thought that was very interesting. I miss her though, and I would love for whenever we see her return, I would love for her to be part of Wyatt Six. But I think the reason we don't have six people in the Wyatt Six, I think that sixth spot is meant for Bray to pay homage.
Right, yeah. And the dark role for her, interesting, yes, but I wasn't truly a fan, especially when you have her on top of the ladder, you doing witch track craft on Naomi, having her walk down the ladder. Sometimes the powers in WWE, it could be a little childish, but when they do it right, like the Undertaker and Kane, it's absolutely a wonder to see. But Alexa Bliss, that gimmick had a lot of damn potential, but they did it a little wrong, in my opinion. Making Randy Orton bleed, spit out black fluids. That's cool. Shooting a fireball, that's cool. But then the powers, the psychic abilities and stuff is like, where'd you get this from, Alexa? You know, how much of these powers did Bray Wyatt pass now? He's not even able to do that shit. Why can you do it? But yeah, no, that's super interesting. But I love the goddess gimmick for her. That shit was golden. But our next person, Andrade.
Oh, Andrade is awesome. I think AEW really wasted his potential. I really think they did. I mean, he got to show off in AEW, like he was doing his thing, like he was actually wrestling, but they didn't utilize him to the fullest of his capabilities. He should have definitely won a title in AEW as well. That's another thing. Like, they should have given him a title. I mean, it seems like that's what Tony Khan loves to do nowadays. He gets all these quote unquote big free agent signings, and he's quick to hand them titles. He did it with Okada. He did it with Ospreay. He did it with Mercedes. Like, I'm surprised he never tried to do that with Andrade. Uh, but Andrade is great. He's a great talent, and I love what he's doing in WWE right now. He was the Speed champion until he dropped it to Dragon Lee. But yeah, I like Andrade. He's great.
And AEW's got like fucking 50 titles, and they couldn't give him one. That's ridiculous. But next, the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford.
Oh, they're amazing. They're great. They have great in ring skills, and plus, they're they're good at cutting promos because the way they talk, they don't talk normally. They talk like they like they talk with that they would talk in real life. At least I'd assume. But especially Montez Ford, like I think Montez Ford has the most potential to be a single star, which I know a lot of people have been saying that for the longest. And plus, I mean, they've teased it, but they never full on had them break up and had them go solo. Like I think, as great as they are as a tag team, I think it's about time to give the Profits each their own solo runs, especially Montez. Like he could easily be in the mid card scene, like competing for the IC or the US title.
I agree, but I think it's possible to keep them as a team while they achieve success. Like they showed that that's possible when Kofi Kingston went on to win the WWE Championship, and he was still a part of the New Day. They never deviated from him. Big E was able to go to a whole nother show and win the Intercontinental and the WWE Championship, and they were still big fans of Big E. They were still they were a team still. So I think they're able to keep them together. The fact that people want them to break up to find that out. Like Angelo Dawkins can play manager for a second. He could do his own thing at the same time. It worked out very well. This is why we're getting such a good run out of Trick Williams, even. He played the tag team / manager role, mouthpiece. And it worked out perfectly for him because he was able to play the underdog role very well. And then that turned into mainstream success where, yeah, no, people love Trick Williams. He was on SmackDown for a short amount of time and he got a loud pop. And no, like it used to be a time where, everyone knew who the next main star from NXT was coming up to the main roster. They used to come up getting pops. Nowadays, not so much. But Trick Williams is a reminder that yeah, no, the fans are watching him. They are. But no, Montez Ford, he can be a main star, single star while staying with Angelo Dawkins. If they break up, so be it. I think Angelo Dawkins will be fine. Um, just as long as I think he's better as a heel. He has that heel look to him. But yeah, Ford's fine. Ford's good. Um, next, Apollo Cruz.
Oh, he's another one. Like I'm glad they sent him back to NXT for that brief time because he got to show off a little bit, but he got called back up to the main roster, and they're just not really doing anything with him. Like he has there's nothing he's really doing right now, and that sucks because he's a great in ring talent. Like he could he could be going after the U.S. champ right about now. And that's the thing. Apollo, like he's been a former IC champ. He's been a former U.S. champ. Like he's won both those belts. You'd think being he's a former mid card champion, you'd think they'd be doing a little more with him, but nah, it doesn't seem like it. Like I think he's just there to help put over other people. Like, and that sucks because he's somebody that they can definitely utilize better.
They gave him the Intercontinental Championship and then turned him into a Nigerian warlord, and then had Babatunde behind him. Um, they sent him down to NXT when that didn't work. They turned him face and gave him a fucking That's So Raven gimmick where he could see in the damn future and control zombies and shit. And then they brought him back up to from NXT to the main roster, doing what he was doing before the Nigerian shit. They turned him right back into this normal old happy-go-lucky smile at everything gimmick. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And Apollo Crews is one person I agree is being wasted. If he went to AEW, WB would be losing out on a lot because that guy he doesn't have charisma per se, but he can fucking wrestle. And if Ricochet's any evidence, or if his success he's having is any evidence of what I'm saying, let me tell you something. Apollo Crews can be Ricochet times 5 if they give him a damn opportunity. Next, Austin Theory.
Oh, Theory is a very mixed bag for me because, all right, I think in the beginning he had a lot of potential, but where first they screwed him by giving him Money in the Bank because he clearly wasn't ready for Money in the Bank, and they didn't do him justice either the way they had him cash in. Like, yeah, they had to get the briefcase off him, but why is he cashing in for the mid-card title? Like, what? And especially doesn't make sense because a couple weeks later, he would eventually go on to win that same title he cashed in on at Survivor Series, the United States Championship, which his second U.S. title run, I think, was great up until he faced Cena. I think shit went downhill from there. After that, all that character development they had for him, all that rebuilding they did for Theory just went down the drain. Like, because especially there was a match on SmackDown. I think it was LA Knight versus Grayson Waller, and Theory was on commentary or something like that. And the majority of Theory's commentary was just, "Oh, I beat John Cena at WrestleMania." That's literally all his character became at that point. And it like I love Theory. I think he's a great talent, but I just think that they kind of wasted him a little bit. Like they rebuilt him just to pull the Uno reverse card and go back to their old ways.
And look, I'm a big fan of Austin Theory. I've been a big fan of him since Evolve. Okay. He had tons of potential then. He still has it now. He's what, 28, 29. He ain't even scratched the damn surface. By 34, I think Randy Orton was a 10-time world champion. No, he had 14 by 34, if I'm not mistaken. Randy Orton, actually, you can't really compare too many people to Randy. He's a special case. But Austin Theory, he's doing just fine. And I see so many people complaining about him. Oh, they're taking you know, they're not they're not doing anything fast enough with him. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you, they are doing it the right way. Vince McMahon was going to ruin him by shoving him down everyone's throats. Him beating Cena was a good decision in my opinion because Cena, it's fine. Cena winning would have been cool, but if we're looking towards the future, we don't repeat what we did with Alex Riley when he was a young gun trying to get his feet wet in the business, and then you just, you destroy him and take away all of his shine and momentum and confidence. Austin Theory is doing great work. He's one of the best wrestlers in the company. From a wrestling standpoint, entertainment wise, he's getting there. He definitely has charisma. People don't have any issues with him. He's not creating any heat in the back. He's somebody that is going to be a future world champion. He's going to be a world champion one of these days. When that happens, I hope people don't act surprised. It's written on the wall. They've been saying it for years. He's going to be a world champion. It's there. Him and Grayson Waller, in my personal opinion. But
Oh yeah.
next, Asuka.
Okay. Asuka. Oh yeah. It's been a while since we've seen her on TV. I know she's been on the show, but Asuka's another one. Like she's goated. Like she's great, especially when she came back. I think it was a 2023 Rumble. It was last year where she kind of introduced a version of her character from the Indies, Kana, where she started wearing the face paint and stuff. I think I think she's great. And she should have never had her undefeated streak end to Charlotte at Mania 34. That was some bullshit. But um, Asuka's been great. Like she's goated in my opinion. Like she is an amazing addition to the women's division. Like she's awesome.
Yeah, I like Oscar too. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. Yeah, no, she shouldn't have lost to Charlotte. But losing to Charlotte feels better than her just losing at SummerSlam to fucking Sasha Banks or some shit just randomly, you know? Um, I think it does more for Charlotte than it did for Asuka because yeah, they turned them two into rivals, and it made Charlotte look like the legend that she is today. They, I think it was something to stat pad Charlotte's resume, where it was for Brock Lesnar when he beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania. It was just like oh, they did this too. Charlotte's a 15-time champion, but oh yeah, she beat Asuka. She ended her streak at WrestleMania as well. I think it's something like that. Asuka's still wonderful. I think they're doing her Kana gimmick wrong, because Kana was, if you've seen her in Japan, evil, evil fucking character, evil. She was more than just spit and miss. She was using psychological warfare on her opponents. Like over there, Asuka is a goddess. Over here, she is too, but Kana is not. Kana is showing 10% of her evilness right now. But yeah, shout out to Asuka 1000%. Next, Bailey.
Oh, Bailey, she's great too. She's a great in ring worker. And also I know she's a great in ring talent. Also, she has she has good character work too, especially from when she was on Damage Control, and then that that whole that whole storyline of how it was. I think it was yeah, it was Asuka that joined Damage Control, and was it Asuka or was it Kyrie? It was one of the two that they started to talk about Bailey behind her back, and then
Uh,
it created that.
I think it was both of them that joined because that Asuka and Kyrie Sane were they, I think they were in their own team and then they both got incorporated or they joined the team, or I think no, um it was Asuka that joined first and then Kyrie Sane wound up helping Io Sky in a match in Saudi Arabia if I'm not mistaken, and that's yeah, yep.
Okay, I'm just making sure it's if but yeah. So I thought the character. I thought that storyline where Damage Control essentially Kyrie and Asuka had both joined, and then they just EO just started to bond with them more, and Dakota for that matter. Um, and they would talk about Bailey behind her back, and it shows Bailey. I like that they didn't make Bailey out to look stupid. I liked how they made her out to look smart, like she knew that they were talking about her behind her back, because they especially that's something Vince would do a lot, where Vince would make the baby faces look dumb. But um, but I'm glad they didn't go that route with Bailey. Like Bailey knew they were talking about her behind her back, and made for an interesting story. Um, but I like Bailey; she's good.
Shout out BBL Bailey. Um, Next we got Becky Lynch.
Oh, Becky's goaded. Becky's my all-time favorite women's wrestler. Now, okay, I haven't watched wrestling back in the day like a lot of you guys have, so don't get on me for that too much. I've got into wrestling back in 2018, so I'm still fairly new. There's still stuff I'm learning to this day. So when I say so and so is my favorite anything, I'm most likely gonna refer to a newer wrestler, because I'm gonna go based off of who I've got to experience and who I've got to see. Which so yeah, that's why I say Becky's my all-time favorite women's wrestler. But Becky Lynch, in my opinion, is goated. Like she is awesome. Like getting to see her be the first, getting to be part of the first women's main event was awesome for her. And plus, the work she was doing when she became the man, like it really did wonders for her career. to where she's this big star now. And they've been teasing her return for uh January 6th, Raw on Netflix, which I don't know when this podcast is going to come out. So if it comes out after the fact, we'll see whether or not that was the case or not. But I think she's going to return because I mean she's in the Netflix commercial, the most recent one, the most recent one promoting Raw. So there's no doubt in my mind that she doesn't return. And okay, if this comes out after the fact and Becky didn't return, then I'll gladly admit I was wrong. But Becky, go to.
I think she'll either return on the first Netflix episode or she's coming back in the Rumble. There's no in between. There's not a bigger moment for her to come back. In one of the two moments. But you saying that actually gave me a great idea. So we're gonna switch this up. I'm going to say a phrase and you're going to fill in the blank. So, the most underrated wrestler right now is,
Most underrated wrestler right now?
yes.
Okay, and here I have an interesting answer. Chad Gable. The only reason I say that is because, yeah, having him turn heel and the storyline they did with him and Otis was great, but ultimately, they should have pulled the trigger on him and had him win the IC title because otherwise, all that character work just led to nothing. Like, I mean, that's cool. The stable he has with the Creed brothers, they're all great talents. Gable and the Creeds, they're all great, in ring talents. But ultimately, it's like if you didn't give him the title, and if you didn't give him the IC title, if you didn't put a championship on him, then what was all this for? I think there was something to be had there by having Gable, by giving Gable a mid card title run.
I think that's a perfect answer, personally. Most overrated wrestler right now is, and it doesn't have to just be WWE. It could be anybody, any company.
Most overrated wrestler, Will Ospreay. And look, I love Ospreay. I love Ospreay. He's an amazing in ring talent as well. But he, it's more so him joining AEW. He's the one that's overhyping himself. Like he's trying to make himself out to be this big star, and AEW, him signing with AEW, he really thinks like he's gonna do wonders. Like he thinks he's gonna be like on top of the world. Like, bro, stop it. And plus, especially it got all right. I already feel a certain way when wrestlers take shots at WWE, especially in AEW. Like, but the fact that when he started taking shots at Triple H, that's where I was like, you lost me there, dude. You lost me there. Like that, you did not need to do that. Like, stop. What are you doing? Like, you're gonna fuck up. You're gonna fuck up your own career doing this shit. And
Yeah,
then,
I feel like half of that, if I don't fault him too much for that, because again, you gotta remember his employer is Tony Khan, and I don't doubt Tony Khan is cooking up those scripts where he's telling his performers to talk shit about Triple H or talk shit about Nick Khan or talk shit about whoever the champion is at the time or anybody. I think their punching bag at the moment is CM Punk still, but yeah, no, that definitely was pretty silly of them.
yeah.
All right,
And, mhm.
or did you have more to add to that?
Oh yeah. I've been trying to do that with certain answers, but it's just you move on so quickly,
Oh,
and I
I'm
don't want to
sorry.
cut
I'm
you
sorry.
off.
Sorry. Yeah, you gotta
Uh,
let me know when yeah, no. I'll if you keep quiet, yeah, I'll keep running. But yeah, go ahead now. I'm sorry about that.
it's all right. It's all right. So, with Will Ospreay, and yeah, that's another thing. Like, remember how I said it earlier about how AEW they've been mainly focused about putting on like 5-star bangers, like matches every week. Will
And Will
Ospreay is a big
Ospreay was the one
example.
I thought about when you said that. Actually, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like every match Will Ospreay shows out, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing or anything. That's great, but it's like he has to does he have to do all these big crazy spots in every match he does? Like,
I think that's
come
just
on.
how his moveset works, man.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it's true.
And then no, I think it's him who's the main one that does the no sell. It's so annoying. It's so fucking stupid. I hate it. I never like that shit. It's weird. I seen Swerve do it against Daniel Bryanson or Brian Danielson. That was fucking crazy. Daniel Bryanson. Brian Danielson. Where uh Brian had did the Bazaiku kick and Swerve was just fucking standing there and grinning like a fucking idiot, just sitting there, just like he just took a move that took down John Cena. In my mind, I'm like, y'all want to sell this match, go on ahead, but this is not the fucking way to do it. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Ever since then, Swerve has no. It doesn't make sense. You're gonna do that. You gotta keep the guy looking fucking ferocious. But no, Will Ospreay does that a lot. These flip cancels. A match with him and Leo Rush would be the fucking worst if they haven't already done it. Well, Leo Rush is another guy that does that dumb shit. Um, yeah, it's so weak to me. It's so weak. But yeah, no, I 100% agree. Um, nah, Will Ospreay, I will say, I don't know. I don't know if he's overrated, but we'll return to this point. Who is the worst wrestler?
The worst.
Yes, the worst.
Uh, okay, that's a good question. I'm trying to think who's a wrestler that's pretty bad. Um, and okay, she doesn't wrestle anymore, but Eva Marie.
I
Like,
knew you were gonna say.
I'm sorry, she's the only one that really comes to mind because I can't
I
think of
was gonna.
anybody.
I was just about to tell you it doesn't have to be someone that's employed. I was like, let's tweak this up because there's no one that should pop up before her. She's fucking awful.
Yeah, that's the thing. WWE gave her a second chance, and clearly she learned nothing.
Not a
So
damn thing. Nothing.
yeah, and that's the thing. Everybody has room for improvement because that's why I don't even if we say that somebody's the worst, like, there's always room to improve. There's always room to become better. A lot of people said about Lash Legend that she was a bad wrestler at first, but look at her now. She's putting on good matches now. But Eva Marie, it doesn't seem like to me she ever really wanted to be here. I hate to say it, but it's like it's true. Like the way she wrestles, I don't think she really was fully committed to the job. Which not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's like why are you even working here then?
And I always say this: if you don't have to force it. Like when I talk about Sweetie the rapper, sometimes I say you don't gotta rap. You know that, right? There's other avenues of work that you can get into. I ain't saying go work a 9 to 5 and lose all your money, but Eva Marie looks better than 99, well, I'll say 95% of the women that wrestle today. She can go fucking model. If she really doesn't give a fuck about her life, she can go to OnlyFans. Whatever the case may be, that woman is so beautiful. She can go just veer off into the modeling world, and it would have all been like she never even was in WWE. So yeah, no, she's bad. And what makes me more frustrated to say that she was trained by Brian Kendrick. So you got trained by somebody who was under Shawn Michaels, who teamed up with Paul London. You got a guy that is in the same world as Brian Danielson, and you didn't learn shit from him. You tried to take his finishing move, slice bread number two. You couldn't do shit with that. You just look like a pretty dumbass. Like you just look like a pretty pile of shit. Glittery and pink, but still smells awful and just looks bad. Just a fucking pile of puke. Dog puke, I'll even upgrade that too. Um, it's terrible. Yeah, she's fucking bad. That's a good answer. But hmm, the best wrestler is
Okay, and I've answered and I've said this before on my story. In my opinion, and I'm gonna explain my reasons. My goat of wrestling, John Cena.
no, not greatest because that was gonna be my next one. But yeah, sure, we'll flip it. Flip it.
Oh,
Greatest.
okay. Oh, I thought that's what you meant.
No, we'll pivot to greatest. Yeah, you can answer best next, but greatest John Cena. Go, yeah, I want to hear this one. Tell me.
Well, I just think John Cena has done such a good job at, becoming a star, both in wrestling and outside of wrestling. Like he has the promo skills, like he has the move set. Especially in 2015, he was doing shit that we never seen him do before. Like he was doing a lot of moves we would have never thought we'd seen him do, jumping off the rope and shit, doing Canadian destroyers. Like he was a great in ring worker. Um, and but also for the impact, not just for his what he's done in the ring, but also his overall influence and what he's done outside of the ring as well. Um, how he's become this big movie star, and plus how he does all this nice stuff for people, especially the Make a Wish Foundation. He's granted more wishes than anyone else. Like John Cena has done a really good job at becoming like a huge star, both in and out of wrestling, and he's done really good at um, you know, both in wrestling and out of wrestling. And I don't think there's anyone that's had, you know, uh, I don't think there's anyone that has had a bigger impact than Cena outside of The Rock, really. But as far as like being mainstream, being this big star goes, like I consider John Cena to be the greatest of all time. That's just me. And because a lot of people will have their own opinions. Everybody has a different answer as to who they think the GOAT of wrestling is, and they have different reasons for that. Um, but that's just me personally. I think John Cena is the GOAT of wrestling. He's my GOAT at least. So if you want to put it like that, there you go. Because at the end of the day, that's subjective. So there's no right or wrong answer.
Oh, definitely not. There's a wrong answer if you say like Eve Marie is a great wrestler, but yeah, no, it's yeah, it's if you've got if they're within the like if someone was to say Undertaker was, I'll hear you. If someone says Shawn Michaels is, I'll listen. Someone says like Jeff Hardy is, like you know, it's we gotta talk about that. Like Batista, and Batista is my favorite wrestler, but that doesn't mean I think he's the greatest wrestler. Yeah, there's answers you hear out, and there's answers where you're like, yeah, I can understand that. And John Cena is someone where I'm just like, yeah, no, 100%. I won't even want to debate it. He is definitely a GOAT candidate in my personal opinion. Do I think he's the greatest? No. But if someone was to compile an argument, I honestly would understand it. John Cena is not just a great wrestler, by the way. He is a fucking magnificent human being. Just wonderful. Me and my brother joke about it all the time, but we say John Cena is banned from hell. He couldn't go even if he did something dark today. It wouldn't work for him. I think I think the only way he could wind up in hell is if he pulled off a Chris Benoit, and that's yeah, that's the ultimate way to get yourself there. I think he's down there wrestling Fabulous Moolah right now. Um, but yeah, it's and it's crazy. I say that about Chris Benoit because Chris Benoit is another one of my favorite wrestlers, but never will I condone those horrible actions. He's just it ruined everything, you know. Chris Benoit, in my humblest opinion, is the greatest in ring worker next to Bret Hart and Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, um, and Owen Hart as well. Wonderful wrestler he was, Mr. Perfect as well. Uh, but yeah, no, John Cena, wonderful, wonderful. He's a mixture of everything. That's why I like him. Good wrestling ability, great look for the company. You could turn him heel, he'll work there. He's a magnificent talker. I'll never forget when he tore Roman Reigns to shreds in 2018. Fucking insane. Fucking insane. He just tore him a new asshole. It was crazy. And Kurt Angle was just standing there, just like, man, like he felt like a fan there. It was wonderful. But yeah, no, it's, yeah, John Cena, great answer. Fucking great answer. I hope I hear more John Cena's whenever I talk about wrestling on here. Because John Cena's a credit. He's been a now when you the only thing I disagree with is when you said John Cena has been the impact. I'll even argue on a mainstream point too that Stone Cold is the best thing going there.
Mm.
Stone Cold, Undertaker. Because when I hear Impact, I say, if I bring up the word wrestling, who are they gonna say first? And John Cena would pop up first before a lot of people. I think Undertaker pops up. I think Stone Cold pops up. I think at this point Batista pops up. I think The Rock pops up. I think Shawn Michaels pops up. I think Shawn Michaels to a degree. If you're talking to men, probably not. If you're talking to women, most definitely. Your mom likes Shawn Michaels, all right? um, let me see. Yeah, no. But I think personally, I think Stone Cold is that answer when we talk about impact. Hulk Hogan too, even though fuck Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan as well. Um, yeah, definitely, yeah. But John Cena's there. I even, yeah, no, he definitely is a top five impactful wrestler in my personal opinion. But nothing wrong with your answer. I guess we could pivot off to best now. Who's the best wrestler? Now, when I say greatest, you gave me a reason for the goat, but who's the best wrestler today?
Today, uh, I have one of two answers. It's between Gunther and Ilya Dragunov.
Oh,
Um, so those two, it's just they are hard hitting and they are, their character work is amazing, and they're just awesome. If you had asked me to pick one, I'd say Gunther because Gunther is the one that he's been the most protected for the longest, and plus his move set is just amazing. Like the dude has put away opponents with so many moves. He's used so many different moves as finishers: a power bomb, a frog splash, a Boston crab, a choke, a sleeper chokehold, a lariat. Like Gunther, I don't think there's dude. Gunther could just do one chop and probably pin an opponent. That's how good he is. I'm half joking, but Gunther, his offense is amazing. Like, and plus the fact that he only select few people have pinned him. Since his tenure in WWE, like that just goes to show you how great he is.
most definitely. And he's the reason why in the current WB game why you can have multiple finishing moves now, right? Like five finishing moves. Gunther's the reason behind that. Um, I've seen him in a match with a clothesline. I've seen him end it with a frog splash. I've seen him end it with a power bomb. I think he's been going more power bomb as of late. I've seen him in moves with the rear naked choke. I've seen him in matches with actually end it with a chop in NXT UK.
Oh wow.
Um, his chop, you talk about the chop, that chop rivals Ric Flair's and Eddie's and Chris Benoit's. Them chops are hard. Damian Priest has got a hard fucking chop too, but
Oh yeah.
Gunther's chop is fucking nuts. You get hit with that damn chop, you might as well go ahead and tell your family you got angina. It's over. You're not gonna breathe right for the rest of your life. It's over.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Gunther, his chops, like he's been dumbing it down with his chops lately. Like he hasn't been chopping people like he used to. Like his chops are brutal, but it's like we haven't seen that out of him lately. I don't know if that's because, they've been telling him not to go, to ease up on the chops lately or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's just we haven't seen like a real brutal chop from Gunther in a while. Even you mentioned Damian Priest. Funny enough, that house show I went to a couple days ago was the main event was Gunther and Priest for the world title in a steel cage. I didn't record it, but Priest chopped the shit out of Gunther 2 times in a row, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like, yeah, he that motherfucker chops hard. Like that's crazy.
I don't know if you remember, but in
Mm-hmm.
their first meeting for the World Heavyweight Championship when Gunther won it, um, Damian Priest chopped Gunther so hard his chest started bleeding.
Oh shit.
Yeah, if you go back and check, he chopped him. So it was after Gunther chopped him, and then Damian Priest responded with a chop, and he smacked the Austrian dog shit out of him. His chest was bleeding. It was crazy. So yeah, Damian Priest has got a wild one too. He's got a loud one too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, Gunther's a great answer. Uh,
Yeah.
best. I want to ask you now, who's the best women's wrestler?
Best women's wrestler. I think. I think I give that to Becky as well. Because I think Becky has done a. I think Becky has a great moveset, has a great arsenal, and I've seen her counter out of stuff in pretty interesting ways too. Like I think I think Becky I think Becky for that one definitely.
Are you going to say Becky for your greatest wrestler of all time, greatest female wrestler as well?
I think I mentioned it earlier that she was to me, so I guess yeah, you could say that.
And some people that will get on your ass for that, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
You
that's
think?
just my
Oh, go ahead.
yeah. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. I'm sorry, I wasn't there for like Trish Stratus or Lita or you know
Oh
anybody
no,
else.
I'm not even saying in the like the retrospective aspect. I'm saying you think she's the greatest out of the four horsewomen because that's the lot. A lot of people would even say Charlotte is better than Becky.
Well, I can understand that. Like Charlotte is definitely the more accomplished one. Like she's won more stuff than Becky, but like, and I don't even mean to say this to be disrespectful towards Charlotte because I like Charlotte, but would Charlotte be would Charlotte be where she is if her last name wasn't Flair? Like,
I think she'd hold her own, but yeah, she probably would have been fired by now if she wasn't a Flair.
yeah, that's my thing with Charlotte. Like, I think, and Charlotte's great. Don't get me wrong, she's a great wrestler too. And it's just my thing is she's had a title put on her too many times, and it's like, you know, and I don't think if she wasn't a Flair, then she wouldn't have been champion as many times as she has. Like she might end up breaking Ric Flair's record if Cena does it, and that's the sad part.
Hmm. Yeah, honestly, I would like Cena to get that record. Or if not Cena, then let's give it to Randy Orton because Randy Orton actually is a 15-time world champion. So we can give it to Randy. I mean, it's too late for Triple H. He isn't in the running anymore. But yeah, no. Yeah, but if Charlotte does it, then I don't think it'll hold the same weight as Rick and Cena because a lot of her title reigns are overinflated. She a lot of her reigns she won the title and then got cashed in on, and then she won the title and lost it on Raw a few weeks later. And it's a lot of her reign. A lot of her reigns are a little fraudulent. So yeah, it's Rick did the same thing though. He wasn't getting cashed in on, but he was a transitional champion sometimes. And then it's weird that they even count Ric Flair's because most of his world championships were in NWA and WCW. So he's never won a WWE championship. Uh, he's never won too many world championships in WWE. So yeah, it's weird that they combine it like that, but all the same, yeah, I suppose it makes sense. They don't refer to Christian as a 6, 7 time world champion. They just say 2-time world heavyweight champion Christian. So I don't know, weird. They combine Ric Flair's, but they don't do that for everyone else. It's kind of odd. But hmm, let's see. Who is the worst? No, no, you already answered that. You already answered that. I'm gonna throw a curveball at you.
Okay.
Your 5 favorite wrestlers
Oh, of today or of all time?
all time.
All time. So I've already said all time number one's John Cena. Um, Now 2, 3, and 4, I'm having a hard time putting one over the other, so I'll just list them and then you guys pick whatever order. Undertaker, Stone Cold, The Rock, and then number 5 is Randy Orton.
All right, now here's the kicker to that
Uh huh.
question.
Uh huh.
Take take your 5, and who would WWE be great without?
Fuck. Oh, you really got me on this one. Oh. Oh no. Oh.
because all those guys are great. All of them are great, but you're arguing out of those five who WWE would be a little more fine without. So you said John, you said Undertaker, The Rock, Randy, and who else?
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold. Wow, wow. And they needed John. They even
I
needed Undertaker.
Yeah, like it's Stone Cold and The Rock. There's no WWE without Stone Cold and The Rock. I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to go with Randy.
Mm.
Oh, that hurts me. That hurts.
You can make an argument for The Rock though. All the same, you can make an argument like Stone Cold and John Cena. There's no argument for it. Those two changed the course of the company. Undertaker is the ultimate role player. He's somebody that didn't absolutely sell the greatest, but all the same, he was somebody that was pivotal within the company's history. Of course, he's synonymous with WrestleMania. Randy Orton and The Rock are the two that stand out the most because The Rock had a relatively short WWE run. He started, I believe, in '90, if I'm not mistaken. And someone can fact check me here. He started because he was watching his father for the most part when he was a child and a teenager. He came up. It was in the '90s, of course. He stopped in 2003, if I'm not mistaken. I don't count his stints now coming back because they're one-off stints. But he really wrestled for such a short amount of time. I'd even argue within that time frame, if there's no Rock, they create a Rock. They could have somebody with the good looks and because there were good talkers in the company. You can't replace the talker that is The Rock, but all the same, The Rock, he became a celebrity. That's great. He brought mainstream appeal to WWE. Great. Randy Orton also has mainstream appeal right now. I haven't heard a wrestler mention more in fucking rap songs than Randy Orton and RVD and John Cena. Uh, Especially Randy Orton. God damn. Or Jeff Hardy. Um, Randy's somebody I think, and I can't believe I'm saying this even. John Cena is, he can't be replaced. He can't. They needed him. I don't think they needed Randy as much as John Cena. And I don't think it's relatively close either. I don't
Yeah,
know. That's hard to let escape my mouth, honestly, because I love Randy Orton. Always have.
yeah.
We're plugging the YouTube channel. Y'all want to check out his fantasy booking and his his I want to say impending return. Are we going to see that at some point? We going to get a comeback?
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with YouTube, to be honest. But just never say never. Anything can happen. It might not even be wrestling related whenever I decide, if ever I decide to upload YouTube videos again. But just stay subscribe if you will, and just keep notifications on because if I ever do post anything, you'll be the first to know.
I mean, hey, if you don't do the show, I mean, you know enough about wrestling, man, and you've done predictions and stuff before. Why not just be a commentary channel? I see you doing it. I think you have enough charisma for it. You know enough about wrestling. And I mean, we've had a 2 hour conversation about, where certain people should be on the show and everything. I think that's a good route for you, man, personally. I probably shouldn't have said it on the podcast episode. I don't know if I'm gonna cut this out. Who am I kidding? Every time I say I'm gonna cut this out, I don't cut it out. But uh, yeah, no, I think that's a good route for you, man. Personally,
Yeah, that's something I'll definitely look into. I don't think I want to eliminate wrestling completely out of any future content, but There's other ideas I have, and as of right now, they're just ideas. It doesn't mean anything at all unless there's actual, plans and actual work put in. But yeah, I'll definitely take what you said into consideration, though. Definitely.
Or if not that, man, you're a graphic designer. Hey, show us all some art. I mean, they see it on my channel all the time, and y'all see it's fire as hell. So, you know what I'm saying? Shit. Just imagine what he cooks up on a larger scale, because all he did was make a banner for me. You know what I'm saying? And it looks for that fire. So imagine, the grander, more methodical pace things that my boy Silas here is making. So I don't know, maybe, show some of that off.
Yeah, definitely. These are a lot of good ideas. Definitely, a lot of things to take into consideration.
Oh yeah,
Most.
trust me, I'm full of them, man. Trust me. If you ever needed help with your channel, I'm always the first person you need to hit up, man. I'm not the first person, but I'm your friend, man. So I'm gonna be the one that keeps it real with you, 100% too.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate having you, dude. I really mean that. Like, thanks, dude.
100%. You got a story?
Yeah, I know. I already know this episode's about to be almost 2 hours long, so
Oh,
I'll try to.
I ain't worried about the time, man. Trust and believe me. You seen my videos. You seen my longest video. Y'all ain't even seen it yet, but I got a year-end rap list coming out. That's about to be an hour plus. So trust me, man. You go ahead and talk all you want.
All right. So, I mean, again, names will not be mentioned, and that's the hard part about it, not mentioning names because it makes it harder to explain certain things. But um, I, I was part of this club at my college. Um, I was part of it for about a year, and I got introduced to this club by a friend of mine who he was the first friend I made when transferring to that school. And we were cool, but we had a good friendship. But then a year later, things would start to change as I started helping him out with the club. Like I became one of the higher ups of the club, like a board member. Um, and I tried to step up a little more and try to help this club get its feet off the ground because the club had just gotten recognized by the university. So we were able to do a little bit more. Like speaking of which, I made a logo for the club. I made flyers and everything. Like, dude, I even bought a new printer just to be able to mass produce flyers to put around campus. Like I really put my all into the shit, and then it all started where people would start to treat me a certain way. Like anytime I would try to talk or anything, it started with whenever I tried to talk, people wouldn't really give me that attention. People would talk over me. People wouldn't listen to me. People would try to walk out of the room and stuff whenever I'm talking. Like, oh, I'll be right back. Like it started to get underneath my nerves a little bit. It came to one point where I even just kind of walked out of the classroom in somewhat dramatic fashion. Um, like it wasn't like a fuck this, I'm out of here. No, it was just like, you know what, fuck. I was just like, you know what, I was just upset. I was just like, I grabbed my things and I just walked out quietly. I mean, people saw me. I wasn't exactly trying to hide it, but and people were a little concerned because it was like, yo, what the hell? What just happened? He just walked out. I tried to vent my frustrations the next week as my friend who was the president of this club, the same friend who introduced me to it. He he gave me the opportunity to vent out my frustrations, a little bit. And I did, but it didn't seem to go anywhere. As the week after, um, these problems will start to come up again. And um, and even the professor who's the advisor for the club, he would even start to do things. He would make certain remarks to me that I found to be disrespectful, and I have a lot of respect for teachers and professors and everything. I was even in like elementary school, middle school, high school. I was never one to even as much as I hated the teacher, I always had respect for them. Like, oh yeah, they upset me, but I never brought no attitude towards them or anything. But no, this one professor in particular, I I got in his face and I cussed at him. Like I was upset. I was like, I fucking flipped out on him because he was being disrespectful towards me, especially from 2 weeks prior, where he would take up like, and I told him like, there's some things I need to go over with the club, and it's very important. And he didn't give me the opportunity to do that. So it started with that, and just him being disrespectful towards me. It's just I had it. I let loose, and then 2 weeks later, I go back in the classroom because, well, I had skipped the week after. I no showed the club the week after at that point, because I was just so upset with everything. And then it would take 2 weeks, and in between those 2 weeks, there was other people from the club who I was cool with. I didn't have an issue with, and they weren't even there for what I said to the professor, but they would start to just give me dirty looks and stuff. And before we were cool, we would dab each other off, like we didn't have issues with each other. And then they just started looking at me a type of way, like, what the hell? They weren't even there. They didn't even experience what was going on. So why are they looking at me? And it comes to find out, I was somebody was talking shit about me behind my back, and that person was the same friend who, Mr. President over there. And it just came to the point where I had enough. I walked back into that classroom, slammed the door, and I cussed everybody out. And Mr. President, he has a bit of a mouth too, so he was fucking, over here. Every time I tried to say anything, he'd talk over me and shit, and would try to make me look bad. He tried to bring up certain things to try to make me look bad, as if like, oh, I'm not being mature, I'm not being this. And there were just little jokes we'd crack with each other and shit. Like, he found them funny, so it's like, why is he trying to now use these things against me when at first you found them funny? You had no problem with when I did them. Like, what? And then it led to me getting thrown out the classroom, which that didn't even bother me. But I never returned to that club after that, and I just, I was done. I was done. And plus, I lost some people who were, I thought were friends, who, I thought we were cool, but it's just it fucking sucks. And that all happened this past year, 2024. That happened in the spring. This past spring semester. So this was all fairly recent, and yeah, that it was just very stressful. It was, and it. I got over it. I'm over it now, but it still sucks because I had to burn some bridges. I lost some people who I thought were my friends, and this past semester, this fall semester that just finished, it left me with like not a lot of people to interact with because I had that happen with everybody. And on top of that, I had friends who were graduating as well. So it left me with like nobody really to hang out with, nobody to no friends left on campus, which, I understand, like at the end of the day, it's all about getting your education, which, that's ultimately what I'm there for. But at the same time, it's like, and I would like to be able to have some fun in my downtime as well to make school go by a little more easier. Now I kind of lost that opportunity. Well, maybe not. I have one more semester left before I, hopefully, before I graduate. God willing, everything falls into place. I should be class of 2025. So, I won't have to endure too much of the loneliness anymore after May, hopefully. But, well, it kind of sucks too because I don't have a lot of friends IRL either. So that's always going to be a thing that I have to deal with. That I'm always going to have to end up dealing with this. Like and no, it's not that I haven't tried to make friends. It's just I try to reach out to certain people and either, they're busy or I never hear back. So it just sucks. It does. But, I try to make the best out of gloomy situations. Like I really do. I really have. Like, I'm trying not to let these things hold me down too much. I'm just trying to, reach the finish line and, hopefully, move on from school, never have to see certain people again. And, just hopefully better my life in the process, which karma bit him in the ass because after all that shit happened, I got an email saying that the club shut down. The club got shut down. Like, oh, well, I was the one that there was this form where every year, like as far as clubs go, you have to fill out if you want the club to, be renewed for another year for the next academic year. And I was the one who did it when I was part of the club. And then I got the email saying that, oh, that re-registration was denied. So
Well,
ultimately, even though they treated me like shit, I got the last laugh because that club now ceased to exist.
yeah.
Uh, yeah. And the professor goes around telling people, oh, he shut the club down, but that's not the truth, is it?
And I think I remember you were asking me about it, or not asking me about it, but telling me, you had a situation with some fake friends. Um, and I'll always say this, right? No one is truly your friend if they don't want your best interest. That is bottom line, just cut and dry what it is. If your friends do not have your best interests, if they make you feel less of yourself, if there's a lack of respect, if there's a lack of communication, well, there's always going to be someone with a lack of communication. We're not going to always talk to our friends. But all of those things tie in, okay? And I feel like you approached it the right way. It's nothing else you can do in that situation, but that your frustrations and they didn't seem to really take you into consideration when they were thinking about their jokes and all that other stuff. So it's like you can't do too much after a while. And the fact that it got take, like the club no more longer exists, it is karma, and that karma does exist. Y'all sit out there, y'all sit there and think y'all get to do fucked up shit and treat people a certain way. I'm here to tell y'all, all right, it's never going to completely go y'all way. It's never going to completely go y'all way. And I call it residual karma when you sit there and think that, oh, you do something bad and nothing initially bad happens immediately after. Oh, no, no, no. That's God sitting there letting you sit on all the dumb shit you're doing so you can let it come all out so all the fucked up shit can happen to you all at once. It's 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 bound to happen to everybody. You don't believe in karma, you don't believe in God, then believe in consequences because those are real. Okay. Everything that everyone does in life, they have consequences. They have reactions and they have causes and they have consequences. We all are not, everyone ain't the greatest. We all probably said something that offended somebody. But if you're going out your way to offend someone that means the best for you, yeah, you don't deserve to call that person a friend. And those people, you shouldn't have called them friends because those weren't friends. Those were leeches in waiting. Those were people who were using your good energy to supply their own fucked up energy, their vibes. So at the end of the day, you're going to graduate. You don't need that club. You'll make friends. Trust and believe me. You're a good guy, Sylus. So you'll make friends. I'm not concerned about that at all. I don't have friends in real life, but I'm well off. Okay. I'm not trying to compare me to you, but I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes it's about you. Your story is about you. You finish your story. Not to use Cody Rhodes' very overused term, but um, you finish your story and you make sure that you're on the right path. So at the very least, if those leeches meet you ever again, you got a damn degree to flash in their face when they're being fake. And any other person, um, it's about you at the end of the day and your story. And the side characters that come along, if you decide to make them more important, then by all means, do it. But never ever think that people can't be fake, and don't ever think that people can't use you and yeah, no, trust me, you reacted the right way. The story has a beautiful ending. I like it. You're gonna graduate and them fools ain't got a place to congregate and talk shit no more. Now they gotta create their own little wasp nest to create all this fucking evil energy, if they're even doing that. I doubt it, but I like the ending, brother. Um, let me put this microphone down real quick. Hold on, and clap it up for you real quick, cause it ain't every day you hear somebody is taking their education seriously. You gonna get that degree, and you're gonna do something with your life. That's what you need to be blessed about. Fuck these weird ass people out here. We don't always need friends, okay? Um, Not that it's not something that we don't desire, but trust me, you get the degree, you start working, you get the money, you get the adulation and all that stuff, but you be proud of yourself first. Don't ever seek it from anybody else. You be proud of yourself first. That's the person that should be proud of their accomplishments, the one that's achieving them. So if you're proud of yourself, are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I am.
There you go. Everything else is secondary. Me saying it, and if your friends saying it, family saying it, it's secondary. If you're proud of yourself, shit. Everything else is icing on the damn cake and a cherry on top if you want it to be a cherry on top. Personally, I hate cherry, so it's a mango on top for me. Um, but well, nah, that doesn't really go good with whipped cream. We'll say a fucking pineapple on top. That's better. Um, yeah, that's the real good ending to the story. Achieving greatness despite them. They're no longer in your story. They've etched their markings in your story. They've motivated you to finish the story faster. You're gonna finish it anyways. So I'm proud of you. You're already proud of yourself. Well, I'm proud of you too, man. I've kept up with you um, throughout the year. You're doing great. Trust and believe. I watch the stories. I watch the videos. I keep up with it, man. A lot of these people that you're about to hear me talk to on this podcast, they're not just subs to me. They're friends. They're friends. Okay. So you
Yeah.
got you got you got one RL friend. You talking to him. So you know you got me at least. If you ain't got no one else, you got me. And I don't know how much I count for in this world, but I don't know. I could be a good friend at times. Um, Anything else you want to add to that story, man?
No, well, I think just to end it off on this, I think the lesson here is for everyone, just, be careful who you get close to, and, I, you know, be careful who you try to give second chances. Like, if people don't want to see how they're wrong when you tell them about certain behaviors, they're not worth keeping in your life. If they can't even see how certain things, if they can't see your point of view, if they can't see, like, if they're not willing to correct anything that you call them out for, or you show them how they're, not doing it right, let them go. It's not worth the hassle. It's not worth the drama. Just let them go. That's that's really all I have to say.
Yeah, you let them go. Don't treat him like CM Punk and give him a well. CM Punk's not a good example. He's actually pretty positive at the moment. Don't let him back in like Tessa Blanchard in TNA. Don't let him back in like Jungle Boy Jack Perry in AEW. Don't let him back in like Hulk Hogan every time he comes back to WWE. Don't let him back. Some second chances are toxic for you. Don't ever allow toxicity in your good life. Because some people, they need to learn that you meant well for them, and they didn't mean well for themselves, which means they weren't going to be well for you, which means they weren't going to treat you well. A friend, if they really don't fuck with you, they already fucking value themselves. They value your company. But the lost friends, they don't know themselves, so therefore they don't know how to be good to you. It's all out there. Okay.
Yeah.
So beautiful second chance, beautiful message there, man. But yeah, that's a great story, man. Y'all see the in the description box, the Instagram. Y'all see the YouTube channel. Y'all should see both of those. And go ahead and support both of them things, man. Follow up for my boy here, and what I'm saying, sub up on the channel if you're a wrestling fan. I know it's not for everybody. I'm predominantly a lifestyle and rap channel. Well, dominantly a life channel. It should be over here on I Am Lee, but you know what I'm saying. Everything happens for a reason, Silas. Everything happens for a reason. You're a great guy. All right. You're a great guy.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. You've been amazing to me too, culturally. Because you never had to be as nice to me as you have been, but I do gratefully appreciate that because I don't get that from a lot of people, especially over the internet. Because people over the internet, not everybody's as nice when they're when they're complete strangers to you. But you've been amazing to me, and I'm glad I've kept in contact with you. I genuinely mean that.
And that means the world to me, man. Trust and believe me. That rests at the bottom of my heart, man. Trust and believe me. That makes me feel great. Every time I hear these things, trust me, I hold it dear to my heart. I'm a genuine person who makes content, who makes content, who creates content. I'm not talking to anybody. To these videos are fucking not monetized, so I ain't on here for the money. I ain't on here for the views. I'm on here to talk to good people, to have good conversations, and to create good discourse. That's all it's for. For the people, because of the people. And if I can meet great people like Silas, that's the end goal. That's the end goal. To give a voice to those who wanted to talk. That's what I'm here for. So I appreciate that, man. But to end this off, man, you got anything else to say to the people?
Well, I hope that to whoever's listened to this, or whether you've watched the whole thing start to finish, or you just listen in increments, I hope you've gotten something positive out of this, and just I hope hearing me talk, hearing culture talk, I hope it's been helpful to you in some way, and I hope everybody has a good day.
And what is the podcast you're on right now?
A totally unbiased podcast.
You heard it. We're uncut, we're unfiltered, and more importantly, we are unbiased. This is Sylus Salgado, and I am Lee, and we will see y'all later, man. Peace out.
So.